All right, hey guys, I know that none of you here who follow my videos are real sensitive, because if you were, you wouldn't be here, all right? And I think a lot of you guys already know that the whole, baby Jesus being born story is a big fat lie. And nothing that comes out of religion, narratives like that are true, okay? They're just all narratives and stories to manipulate people. And it should be totally obvious by now because, the people that wrote the Bible, were murderers. And the people that enforced the Bible on others were murderers. And, when you have a religion that, in order for it to become powerful and successful, has to murder and annihilate all of the people who resisted. Okay, so these are the people that you follow. These are the people that you are choosing to believe. So you are choosing to believe people that are telling you a story that they cannot prove in any way. There's absolutely no proof other than, oh, this was written down, whatever. Well, those have been disproven, right? We know that those have been disproven because back in the day of Jesus, ain't nobody was writing books. Nobody was writing books back then. Nobody. So these are all stories of hearsay, okay? These are all stories that were made up, okay? Now, in all fairness, I would say take every story with a grain of salt, even Native American stories, okay? Take everything with a grain of salt because the truth is you weren't there. You weren't there. You can't observe and validate for yourself. So therefore, everything should be held with the most extreme skepticism. And then maybe say, what can I observe? What can I observe now? And what can I assume about the motivations of other people? Because we can clearly see that now. We can clearly see the motivations of all religions, all governments, all systems, because they're one and the same. They're not different. They're not separate. There is no such thing as separation of church and state. And it's interesting because in some parts of the world, they lead you to believe that there is, but there isn't. And in other parts of the world, it's in your face that government is the same as religion. So again, it's like, hey, take your pick. Outright in your face or underhanded deception. But the end result is the same. It's control of the masses and control of the plebs. So Christmas has nothing to do with Jesus. There's no evidence that there ever even was a Jesus. And it's interesting that they decided to give Jesus the name Jesus Christ because Christ is based on the Helios Christos, which is the sun being, right? The Son of God. But yet Christmas is about the solstice, which is about the sun. And the whole solstice idea has been around long, long, long before this made up Jesus story, okay? And the story was made up by the same people that were trying to conquer and dominate the planet. Well established, by the way. And the people that pushed religion onto others murdered all those that resisted. So if you are a Christian today, or any religion, Muslim, I don't care what religion it is. If you're here today, it's because your ancestors didn't resist and were able to birth you, okay? Versus those that were annihilated and wiped out, so their bloodline was ended, okay? I was fortunate that I snuck through because my mother was very Catholic. My mother came from a Catholic family. My dad came from a Protestant family. And I escaped it. I escaped that prison. I never fell for it, was never into it. I used to call my mother from CCD and tell them that I had to stop saying shit because I was just calling them out on all their garbage. And then finally I just learned I need to just be quiet. And yeah. Anyway, I learned really, really early on what a scam it is, and nobody's interested. Nobody's interested in dissent. Nobody. We do not live in a world that welcomes dissent, right? Nowhere. What's that tell you? Okay? In a free world, people would be allowed to have different views, different opinions, and not be shamed, not be ridiculed, not be ostracized. All right? But we don't live in that world. Now, granted, I'm at CCD and they're promoting the story, right? And I'm not going along with it. And they're just like, well, you're going to have to either keep her home or get her to stop doing this. And my mother didn't want to keep me home because she really hoped that I could be rehabilitated. And she made me go through the whole thing. And I could have fought it and resisted it, but I knew in my little 8-year-old body and my little 8-year-old mind that would get me into really, really dark, dark trouble that I just didn't want to deal with that. So I just sucked it up. And I just went, and it was fine because I had some friends there. So it like wasn't the worst thing in the world. Even though it sucked, I freaking hated it, but I had some friends there, whatever. And we would just goof around. So basically, it was just us goofing around all the time and getting in trouble. That was basically what my CCD experience was. So that's life as we know it. Life as I knew it. Insanity. And I grew up knowing that I lived in an insane world. And it took me a while to really get my bearings here. I'm not going to lie. It took me a long time to get my bearings to actually feel like, okay, wait a minute. Maybe I do belong here. And maybe I'm here for a very different purpose. So. And I find it interesting with everything going on right now. Like, wow. Like, we're watching the collapse of society as we know it. And we're watching this unbelievable display of the massive attempts of controlling this planet right now in a big way, in a huge way, globalized central control. It's like, wow. And I'm like, what the fuck would I come for this for? Like, what? Like, but I don't know, man. I believe there's a reason beyond that. I really do. And again, I'm not going to try to force anybody to believe what I believe. Not going to. But I believe there's something powerful happening on this planet right now. And I think it's tied into the sun and the earth and the fact that human DNA is actually expanding, and it is. So don't anybody say it's not. It is. Do your research, please. Do your research. I'm really tired of ignorant people who won't even do a lick of fucking research and start babbling their opinions. And it's like, no. What do you think the Genome Project was doing? Yep, NASA and their genome research labs. They discovered quite a while ago that human DNA was starting to unfold from 2 to 4 strands, and they were seeing it in healthy people, not in cancers, okay? We're not talking cancers. We are talking about healthy human cells, and they've been tracking it. What do you think all this CRISPR technology is? Why do you think they want to edit your DNA? Why do they think they want to remove your DNA? Why do you think they want to short circuit you? Why do you think they want to rewrite your DNA? Huh? Starts to make sense, doesn't it? Don't listen to stupid people. And don't listen to people who have an agenda and want to keep you in the cage, okay? So you can't trust doctors. You can't trust politicians. You can't trust teachers. You can't trust religious people. You can't trust anybody that is pushing an agenda. If you put a sign up that this is what you do, and this is what you support, and this is what you back, and you are solid with that, you can't trust people. You can't trust people, okay? You can't trust people. Because people attach themselves, okay, to their ideologies. And they're not willing to challenge it. They're not willing to look outside of that. I've been willing to challenge everything I believe. And let me tell you, I still do it to this day. I challenge absolutely everything. And this keeps me open and flexible. And sometimes the more I challenge things, the more solid I am in my belief. I'm like, yep. This makes me even more firm in my decisions and in my choices. So again, it's really not being afraid to go the distance and not being afraid to get into the mud and to be like, what am I believing? Why am I believing this? And how does this really ultimately serve me? Because you will find that the majority of beliefs that people have don't serve them at all. Don't serve them at all. It serves the system. It serves the beast. So it's something to think about, okay? So this whole year, this whole year of absolute rapid race to push people into the AI, digital, transhuman world, it's been quick, right? They've been moving fast. I mean, it's been happening all along, but it's exponentially been increased in speed. And this whole Christmas season, New Year season, has nothing to do with the stories that were told. Nothing. Zero. Nothing. Okay? It's all about the sun coming back. The days are now getting longer. And this was always celebrated in the ancient, pagan cultures. And that is what all these stories are based on. And even religions that have all these other holidays, it's always based on these other pagan celebrations. And then, of course, you have other things on this planet that are not necessarily good and light and about the light and nice. And those things are actually celebrated as well. They're very dark. They're very nefarious. They're very, very deceptive. Okay. And there's that too. So there's a lot of religions that actually build holidays around these very, very dark things. Okay. Like the Muslims actually celebrate, was it Isaac? I forget the name. Willing to sacrifice their child for God. God would tell you to kill your own kid just to prove your obedience. Okay. It's fucking dark. It's dark as fuck, right? It's disgusting. It's disgusting. You want to believe in a God like that? Have at it. You try to tell me that's true? I'm going to tell you you're fucking retarded. Okay. Painfully and disturbingly retarded. All right. That you follow a being, an invisible being in the sky. Okay. That somebody told you existed, and some fucking book has it written in there that in order to be obedient, we should be willing to sacrifice our own children. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. You ain't my God. You ain't my God. Okay? This is what I'm saying. The world is fucking insane. The world is fucking insane. Baby Jesus, you're fucking insane. All right? So, I don't want to be insane. I don't want to be insane. I'm willing to question and challenge every freaking belief that I have. And I have repeatedly. And I still continue to do it to this day. I am constantly shedding and constantly settling. Shed, settle, shed, settle. And this is just a never-ending process. There's things I'm willing to die for that I know in my heart are the right things. I know so deeply in my being that this is truth that I'm willing to die for it. But there's other things that I believe in, like I believe it or I want to believe it. And now I say that I want to believe it instead of just I believe this. It's like I want to believe this. I want to believe this. And that changes everything. So it's fine. I want to believe in the Jesus story because Jesus is going to save me. I want to believe in that story. Fairy tales, right? Fairy tales. I want to believe in fairy tales. Just say want. And I think that changes everything. So there's certain things that I know at the core of my being. And then there's things that I believe. And they're not the same things. Had a conversation with a girlfriend about this the other day. Whose on the fence, ready to jump from her religious upbringing. She's feeling it. It had nothing to do with me. She is the one that came to me and point blank asked me, what do you believe? And I'm like, okay, what do I believe? What do I want to believe? I'll tell you what I believe based on evidence. And then you can choose for yourself what it is that makes sense to you. I'm not here to tell you anything. I'm not here to shove my beliefs down your throat. I'm not here to tell you what's right, what's wrong, what's true, what's not. Like, no way. No freaking way. But based on the substantial amount of evidence, this is what I lean into. But what I know in my heart is that I didn't come here for this shit. I am not part of this matrix. The gods of religion are not my gods. I don't have a god. I am connected to something supreme and something amazing and something profound, but the gods of religion ain't it. All right? So that I know. And I've known it since my first conscious memory. So there's that. Okay. So again, there's going to be a lot of narratives that are going to start coming out to spin people closer and closer and closer towards this web of deception, the transhuman agenda, okay? The artificial takeover of this planet. It's real. It's happening. Okay, I don't say any of this to fearmonger, just saying it's real, it's happening, okay? But yet on the flip side, you've got this intense stuff happening with the sun. The Schumann frequency is bouncing all over the place like a yo-yo. It's spiking to levels that have never been seen before. Human DNA is actually unfolding. There's lots of things happening on this planet, okay? As the controllers are desperately trying to wrangle in humanity into their transhuman trap, okay? So, know who you are. Know what you want. And move in that direction. Line your actions up with that, okay? And stop bowing to these ridiculous, artificial, fake authorities within practical reason. I'm gonna add that in because, there's certain practical realities that we have to take into consideration when we're making decisions, okay? However, there's a lot of resistance happening all over the planet. People are rising up against the tyranny, okay, and the control. And know where you're going to stand. Where are you going to stand? And I've told my whole family from day one, I am dying from this body because I know I'm eternal. That I know. I'm leaving this body behind if it comes down to it. If it comes down to it, okay? I will never say yes to something that is so disgusting and disturbing just for physical life. Not happening. Not happening. Know where you stand, all right? Signing out.